How many people do we have, Kevin? Members of the committee?
Members of the committee,
5, it looks like.
5, yeah.
Oh, Marco, 6.
It's 6:30 on your watch, Kevin?
6:29, 1 minute.
Kevin, I think it's time to start.
Okay, welcome everyone. If this is your first time joining us virtually, you will notice that you are currently muted, and everyone will remain muted throughout the meeting except for the committee co-chairs, David and Anthony, and any presenters as we move through the agenda. As we move through the agenda, the co-chairs will call on members of the public wishing to speak. You can participate by going to the react icon on your device and pressing the raise hand button, not the wave or thumbs up, as those will disappear. Only press it once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. If you're calling in on the phone, it is *9 to raise hand and *6 to unmute. Be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting once the co-chairs call on you. The chat is available for technical support only to help with Zoom software problems, not to ask questions of the co-chairs. You will not see the chats. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you need to go to participants section where you will find the raise hand feature there. Please do not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you. Chat me, I'm here for support. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, and welcome to the committee and the public to the Landmarks Committee meeting for July. This meeting will consider applications for the Landmarks Commission from the point of view of context and appropriateness, not constructability and not zoning, context and appropriateness, and we would appreciate the public to respect that in their comments. And we will start off with the first application for the evening, 857 Fifth Avenue, Upper East Side Historic District. Matthew Cordoni, architect. A no-style building designed by Robert L. Bean and constructed in 1961-63. Application is for a facade restoration of the natural stone only on the ground floor of the south elevation and the existing columns on the west. And is the architect here tonight?
Hello, everyone. My name is Sokol. Unfortunately, Matt could not join us tonight. I'll be on my own presenting the project in front of you.
You share your screen if
And can everyone see this okay?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, and I'll just do a little brief introduction to the project. This is, as Mr. David mentioned, 857 Fifth Avenue by Robert Bien, built in 1961 to 1963. The reason we are here tonight is we are introducing or proposing a facade restoration on the ground floor, and we were in front of you back in January, and since then we did do a probe on the facade, and we were very surprised to find out that the initial facade of the building was actually glazed white brick instead of the red granite that is presented there now. Since then, we also were able to locate a few videos from 1970 that also show the facade being this glazed white brick as it goes on the upper, as it is on the upper floors as well. And I will just go through the video, through the images now, just so you can see. We do have it on the presentation board here. They're quite a Just go through this now. Okay. So this is a shot that was from. I have this bar that is going across the top, and I can't see it. Okay, there we go. So this is a screenshot from 1965. That's a video of a protest happening in this area, and it shows the facade being this white brick that it goes along. The video was not very clear. You couldn't really tell what's happening here, but this was kind of our best shot at the facade. This was an image that we found from 1981 that it's calling out the garage that is right next door, but it also captures a glimpse of the facade here on the corner left, and it shows that white brick as well. Here's another image. This is Fifth Ave looking north, and on this side we can see the columns were actually some other material than the red granite there are there now. However, on the back of it, and these two areas here are still showing this darker, which we think that was the red granite that was presented in this area, and also the planter along the street here. And I think we have one more here that kind of like captures that corner here where it starts to return, and these are the columns here as well. Okay. So different from what we had presented before is that we wanted to go back to this look to what the architect intended. So we're still introducing a new material, which is the limestone, but we feel like it's more appropriate than the red granite that is there currently to wrap around the building in this area. So we also wanted to make sure that we capture these columns as well and change that to a more similar look to this, to what was there previously. Okay, and here's a 2D rendering of the existing elevation and also what we would be proposing here. And that's existing, and that's proposed. Okay. And
What's the material on the columns?
the new material that we're proposing, it will be a limestone with a darker granite to follow this line where we have the red granite here. And also, just as previously we mentioned, we would be salvaging all the red granite here that would serve us to do any repairs on this areas where the original red granite was remaining. And I do have some photographs of the condition of the granite, which is in a very poor condition. And we did find out that when we did the probe, you can see the brick on the back, which it doesn't look like it's in a great condition. And I think that's what was the reason why they went with this red granite on top. And another thing I would like to share is just to give you a little bit more of a 3D perspective of what we would be keeping and what we'd be restoring is this image here. So these columns, we are proposing for them to be limestone, whereas this remaining granite on the column here, on the wall on the back, also behind on this column as well, that would remain.
That remains red granite.
Yes, that's correct. And we would, if any of this, which it is damaged in a few locations, that would be restored with the salvage red granite that we would take from this elevation here. Here's, and I also have a few samples of the limestone that we were able to get from Young and Son from New Jersey. We also went there with this red granite that we have in the facade and gave it to them and said, you know, is this something that we could match? And based on their expertise, they said, you know, no matter how much you try to match it, it's not gonna, you'll still be able to tell the difference. And that's something that's been worrying us, and we would like to take away from that, so that it doesn't look like we're restoring this facade, but then at the end it doesn't work. That's kind of our worry. So this would be the limestone. We do have a few finishes, but I think just to keep it simple, kind of matching what was on that image is this one here, which is Indiana silver buff, and it has like a not shiny, but it's a smoother texture. Whereas we also have a few. This one here, it's a little bit rougher. This one has these horizontal or vertical lines that you can do. But I think for our purpose, we would probably lean towards this more a flat surface.
Well, just tell us what you're going to do, because that's what we vote on. You're gonna do the flat, you're gonna do the flat limestone, not the scored limestone.
That's correct. We would propose this one here.
All right, because we can only vote on what you're gonna do. We can't vote on maybes. Okay,
Okay. Okay. And I think that wraps my presentation and the idea of what we're trying to achieve with this facade restoration. I'll open up the floor to any questions or concerns you might have.
okay, well, we will go to the public first to see if there are any comments or questions from the public.
If anyone from the public has any questions, please raise your virtual hand. I don't see anyone right now.
So let's go to the committee and let's go alphabetically.
Elizabeth?
I a little bit unclear, but of exactly what's going to existing, proposed. So you're taking a bit of the red granite out and doing white brick. Is that correct, or is that limestone?
So we would take, or we would salvage this red granite that is currently on the facade, on the south facade. And we would go with the limestone, as you can see on this image here on the upper, to match kind of that glazed white brick. And then go with a darker granite or marble on the bottom to match this band that that was as part of the building when we saw those photographs from 1970s.
Okay, thank you. I think this building certainly deserves its no style designation. And I don't know that I am strict about what the architect intended, as I am on decent buildings, but I think it's okay, and I think I personally like the red granite a lot more. I thought it kind of added to the character at street level, but I don't think this is a building we have to defend to the death, and I think this is an okay proposal.
Michelle?
Thank you. Yeah, the visuals are very clear, but I'm not sure I was able to completely match the visuals up with your verbal representation. So while it looks fine for me, I just want to clarify. When we're looking at the top, that is the west elevation. So that's being converted to the white granite, with the exception of that little red granite baseboard as it faced the west elevation. And then on the next lower visualization, well, skip it because that's the current. Go down to the proposed south elevation. Is the red granite strip to the far left a carryover from the visual of the west elevation?
So, yeah, and
Okay.
I apologize if I wasn't able to clearly speak that. And that's why I made this photograph here, just because it kind of puts it in perspective. So here we have it at 2D. So these columns here on this first west elevation, they're kind of hiding behind. And that seemed to be the original scenario. Like here, you'll see the original.
Yes.
So that's, to my understanding, that looks like a red, right? So, but when you put it on 2D, that's kind of hiding behind it. So I made this a little just photograph just to show you that this is going to remain, but it's going to be behind it. And I wasn't able to clearly show it on this 2D elevation. So
Okay, I got it now. Thank you for the clarification. So basically, if you go back to the preceding slide, that little strip is actually the turnaround from the west elevation, that little red granite. Then you're having the darker granite on the bottom. But on the west elevation, even though you're converting the front columns to the light granite, the columns behind them will remain the red granite, correct?
that's correct. Yes.
Now there are no, am I seeing it correctly, and to note that there are no columns at all on the south elevation?
So the south elevation does have these columns that are kind of they're at the edge of the building, right? They have this where the recess starts.
Well, you're pointing to them on the west elevation. Can you point to them on the south elevation, your bottom picture?
Yeah, that would be here. And then also you have one that are clearly not very visible on this side. And I'll show again that photo because I think that kind of captures that. So that's the column that would remain.
Would not remain?
Would
Would
remain.
remain. So this would remain red granite. And so this wall. And then also this column where it's kind of hiding behind here. It's very hard to tell because it kind
No,
of.
it's okay. What elevation is this, though? I
This-
thought that this was the west elevation.
This is the west, yeah, but if you're looking at this way, you're only gonna see the thin edge of this column.
No, I understand all this. My question was about the south elevation. Are there columns like that on the south elevation?
Along this facade here, I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm asking.
No, there is no columns along this.
Fine. Okay. That was the clarification I needed. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sarah?
I'm done.
Hi. I'm sorry, I came late, and so just to clarify, on the south elevation, historically, it was white brick before the red granite was placed over it. Is that right?
That's correct.
And so in the new proposed rendering, instead of the red granite, it's going to be that gray colored granite.
So it's gonna be this limestone. Yeah.
Limestone.
Yeah, very similar to the hue of the brick in that sense.
Got it. That's my only question. Thank you.
John?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Jane,
I want to wait to hear what David and Anthony both think. I sort of agree with Elizabeth. I like the red. Thank you.
Abraham,
I don't have any questions. I understand what's trying to be done here, and I'm okay with it. Thank you.
Marco,
Thank you. Well, I think since you undiscover the original materials and to replace for limestone, I think makes a lot of sense to have something that match very close. I think it's perfectly fine what you're doing. And I just only one question. You planning to demolish this brick? Why the bricks? Or you want a cladding on the top of that?
That's correct. We would be cladding on top of the brick.
Oh, okay. So as you said before, there is no material they're gonna match at all. Saving the red colors it's good for sustainability. It makes a lot of sense, but you never gonna match. You're never gonna find same materials. But I support this application. Thank you.
Christina,
Can you hear me?
Yes,
No, I don't have any questions and I approve as presented. Thank you.
Kimberly,
Hi, yes, thank you for the presentation. I don't have any further questions, but I do agree with, I believe it was Elizabeth's earlier point that I like the red, but I think I could live with this if that's what the board decides on. Thank you.
Amir,
No comments. Thank you. No questions either.
David and Anthony.
Anthony, you're,
Okay, I think this is fine. Yeah, I don't have any objection to it at all.
I have to agree with Elizabeth, and I also happen to think that this red granite is probably matchable. But since you claim that you have tried to match it and have not been able to, I will go along with what you are presenting. So I think it's time for a vote. So, Kevin, if you would call the roll, please.
Does anyone have a resolution?
Oh, yes, we need a resolution. Sounds like it's a resolution to approve, but I need somebody to say it and somebody to second it.
I would like to propose a motion. The motion is to approve as presented. Is
Thank
anybody
you.
a second?
Did I get a second?
So Michelle and Abraham and Jane.
No, I can't see them for some reason. Okay,
Okay, I'm gonna unmute everyone right now.
let's vote.
Elizabeth,
Yes,
oh, Michelle,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
David,
Yes,
John,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yeah,
Marco,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Kimberly,
Yes.
Amir,
Yes.
okay, thank you, Mr. Sokol.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So moving on to item 2 on our agenda, if I can find it here, which is 785 Fifth Avenue. Sawyer Burson are the architects. A no-style apartment building, another no-style building, designed by Emery Roth and Sons and constructed 1962-63. And the application is to alter the terrace parapets and railings on the 17th floor. And I saw John was here, so if you'd like to begin your presentation. There you go.
There we are. I'm unmuted. Do I share the screen for our set?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's usually the best way.
Let me do that. Okay. There we go. And I just want to apologize in advance if there are fire engines, etc., in the background. We're on this corridor of Park Avenue South that seems to have every emergency vehicle imaginable. Just a couple items of note. What we are proposing is the lowering of parapets, extending glass guardrails, all up at the 17th floor. This project, the building is a white brick building by Emery Roth. It's been noted in the historical record of not really contributing to the neighborhood. There was a substantial renovation done on the floors above us back in 2014 by Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro, where there was a dramatic change in the windows and in the parapets. And so I think that helps put what we're proposing into some context. I want to just thank you all for taking the time to hear this proposal. And with me, of course, are Valerie Campbell of Kramer Levin, and also a principal from our firm, Karen Palella, and Gina Kim, also from our firm. Here are the basic before and after. Well, here's what we are proposing. These are existing conditions. You can see in that sort of the area outlined in orange, the guardrails and parapets that we're proposing the work on. And here on the in this view here on the lower right, you can see right above us that broad expanse of glass. That's the 2014 renovation by Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro. They also added the penthouse above this. You can actually see those glass rails that are part of that penthouse level that they added. We are below that. And let me see, going here to the next sheet, just want to call your attention to some of the remarks that were made in these documents regarding the historical value of the building. In here, right here, in the historical inventory, it's noted that this was the first new building to be constructed on Grand Army Plaza since the late 20s. Its scale and its white unornamented facade do not blend with the older buildings, and the building's position on Grand Army Plaza further exposes its lack of character. That being said, a good deal of work has been done on this building. Here is on the left, what's called the prior approved plan. There has been a certain amount of scope of work that we were proposing for this renovation that's already been approved at staff level by the LPC. What they are allowing us to do is put in new windows and doors around the exterior and also to lower the top rail of the parapet by 3 3/4 inches. So you're not really going to detect much difference between the image on the left, which is what's been previously approved, and what's on the right. Again, just in notes, talking about what we are asking for. Here is on the left the existing. These are the existing and proposed for the west elevation. This is facing Grand Army Plaza. It's a little hard to tell what our scope of work is. It's really right here, these railings and parapets, and these railings and parapets. These are some photo montages on the left, what is previously approved by LPC, and on the right, what is proposed. I think these larger scale images better describe what's being proposed. This is what was approved previously by LPC, new windows and doors, and lowering of the existing guardrail by 3 3/4 inches. Down below, we're proposing to lower the masonry parapet itself by about a foot, basically 3 brick courses, and extending the glass that same amount. The photo montage on the upper right shows what's been previously approved by LPC, and then here is what we are proposing. Similarly, the north facade, this is what's facing the side of Pierre Hotel across the street, across 60th Street. And again, it's the existing on the left, proposed on the right. Just as note, this upper part, the broad expanse of glass, and this kind of upside down teacup form on the roof are part of the Diller Scofidio renovation from 2014. Similarly, the photo montage on the left for the north facade existing, on the right proposed. And then larger scale views showing what's been previously approved by LPC on the left for the guardrail and the new windows, and then below it is what we are proposing. There's also an incidental amount of this work, this proposed work, that you can see when you're heading west on 60th Street towards 5th Avenue. You can see a little bit up there here. Okay, and a little bit there. That this is existing on the left. I'm sorry, previously approved by LPC on the left. What we're proposing on the right. Here are close-ups. And again, principally what we're saying is we're going to lower the parapet, masonry parapet, by a foot, and then extend the glass down. These three elevations are just typical. So the top is what's actually existing if you go to the apartment now, or you have binoculars and look up from Grand Army Plaza. It's a metal framework with glass panels set inside it, with air all the way around the glass panels. What was previously approved by LPC is the lowering of that top rail by a couple inches, and then reworking the framework so there's a little less metal and a little more glass in each panel. And then finally at the bottom is what we're proposing now, which is keep the guardrail, top rail where it is right now, and then extend lower the parapet and extend the glass down. One feature that has happened, you'll see here on the right, is we start on the left with the existing condition, and that's the what you would see if you went to the apartment now on the upper left. In the middle is what was previously approved by Landmarks, which was the lowering of the top rail by 3 3/4 inches. What we're proposing here is further lowering the masonry parapet and extending the glass down. We've had to add a little metal fin to resist lateral wind loading. To give you some idea of the dimensions of this fin, it's only as wide as the metal support post. So it's 1 inch wide. It's also tapers down to 0 at the top and then an additional 3 inches at the bottom. So here are what on the top is what you would see right now, what's existing. This kind of talks about the reason for doing this in the first place, which is there's a beautiful view over Grand Army Plaza. There's a lot of an original kind of nondescript metal railing, a metal and glass railing with a lot of metal framework. What we're proposing down here on the right certainly gives a more enhanced view. Let's see, did I miss one little thing? Okay, so let's see, keep going. So here are some details of the framework. We've just gone ahead and solved the corner conditions and the like. We are removing the coping. There's a stone coping there, but that stone coping was clad by flashing anyway. So what we're replacing it with is simply going to have the same amount of metal work showing that you currently see. So in summary, I think what we're doing is on a very high floor of the building. The building itself is kind of nondescript. There's been a much more radical renovation on the floors above us. So I think in terms of overall impact of ours, it's kind of minimal in comparison to that, and then also very hard to discern from street level.
Okay, thank you, John. Was that your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, first, I guess we're looking for members of the public who might want to comment. I don't see any. Kevin, do you?
No.
Okay, so we should go to the committee, and let's go to the committee in reverse order, as we do. Go ahead. I guess.
Anthony. I think that's me.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think the designer make a strong point at the beginning of his presentation. This is what I was laughing. He was putting in real scale what he is proposing, which basically is almost impossible to differentiate what is existing and what is proposed. So, so therefore, the proposal is extremely small, even though that the details I found much better, the original than the proposed. So my point of view in this case is, since it's too far away from the street level to see any difference between what is existing and proposed, I think it's perfectly fine, this application. But the design, I think I like better the original rather than the proposed. It's very simple. Yes, you want to look better the Central Park. Yeah, probably that could be your issue. But personally, myself, at that distance, I don't have no problems at all. I'm going to make some quotations since you mentioned about the structural problems. Yes, I read very careful your comments, and I think you have a serious problem with the structure, but we are not going in that direction. That's not our obligation to make any comments in that part. We assume that you are responsible, professional, and you know what to do. And thank you, and I will support your application.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marco.
Abraham,
I agree. I don't have any questions. I think this is appropriate and I will support it. Thank you.
Jane,
Thank you. I will support the application.
John,
I will also support it.
Sarah,
I'll also support the application.
Michelle,
Just a quick question. Is the wall that you're lowering, you're cutting the glass further down vertically, nothing, no expansion horizontally of the windows?
I mean, of the panes,
Yeah,
they follow what's there. I think I could probably draw a line. Yeah, here we go. They go, yep. You just follow them. It's kind of the same divisions.
but the existing glass that's there now,
Yeah.
you're making it vertically larger.
Yes.
Okay. And this is a good slide. This is what I wanted to see. The brick banding that's there is only at your terrace, correct? It doesn't interfere with anything below your terrace. That's your wall on this 17th floor terrace. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing you'd be cutting down.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Elizabeth,
Is, I think this is perfect.
There we go.
Elizabeth, we can't hear you right now.
You can't?
Ah, there you are.
Yes. I said that I think that this is perfectly acceptable on a somewhat acceptable building.
Okay, Kimberly,
Hi, thank you. I can support this application.
Christina,
I can good support it. Thank you.
David?
Amir. Oh, one more, Amir.
Oh, sorry.
I'm supporting.
Okay, that's it. David Anthony.
I think it is well thought out. I appreciate the level of detail because I think a lot of the drawings we get don't have this kind of information, which is always very helpful. So my thanks to a very good presentation for a very small project. But yes, it certainly has my support.
And I think David said that very well. It's really a very thorough project, and I can certainly support it. So I think we're going to we need a resolution, and we can then.
A motion to approve as presented.
And second by Abraham and Jane. So let's call the roll.
Okay, I'm gonna unmute everyone. Marco,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Jane,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
Kimberly,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Amir. I think you're unmuted.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now finally a style building.
Thank you
820.
all. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you,
Night.
John. 829 Park Avenue. Daniel Allen and Kilcoyne. A neoclassical building designed by Pickering and Walker and constructed in 1910, 1911. Application is for the removal and replacement of the north-facing areaway fence and service gate on East 76th Street to match the existing adjacent service gate and tree guard decorations along Park Avenue. Is the architect here?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Jackie Prudu-Vallon, JPD Preservation Consulting. I'm here tonight with someone from the architect's office, Rob Hegedus of Allen Kilcoyne. I just want to say hello, Chair Halpern and committee members. Thank you so much for hearing this application tonight, especially during the summer months when I know a lot of community board members would rather not be doing this. So we really appreciate your time and helping the city. So as I said, I'm here tonight with the architect. He can answer some questions for you as necessary after I go through the presentation. So let me share my screen. Okay. Here we go. Can everyone see a map and some black and white photos?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. So this is 829 Park Avenue, an application to alter the wall and replace the fence at a below grade areaway that runs along 76th Street. The new iron fence will have a new design and an additional new gate. The building is located on the southeast corner of Park Avenue and 76th Street in the Upper East Side Historic District. It is a neoclassical style apartment building constructed in 1910 to 1911, designed by Pickering and Walker. Here are the 1940s tax photos of the building. On the right, you can see a portion of the areaway fence. I don't know if you can see my cursor circling.
Yes,
But you can see a portion of the fence, which is visible in this photo really taken of adjacent buildings. But you can see from this photo that the existing fence is the fence that was there in the 1940s. So this is very likely the original fence. Unfortunately, the tax photo doesn't really tell us much in this regard. Okay, I'm trying to advance. Here we go. Here on this block plan, you can see the footprint of the building and the areaway, the location of the areaway on 76th Street. In the photo in the left, in the middle, is the building in the 1950s, and the photo on the right is the present day. And in each, we've located for you where this fence is, which does return on Park Avenue, but it really runs along 76th Street. Here are existing condition photos of the areaway as it appears from the sidewalk on 76th Street mainly, but again, also for a small portion on Park Avenue in the bottom right corner. So the fence sits on an existing low granite wall. And because of this, as I said, there's a low granite wall that runs the length of the building. It steps and changes height gradually with the slope of the sidewalk. The sidewalk slopes down to the east. At the corner of Park Avenue, the granite wall is almost 1 foot tall, and at its farthest eastern portion, it's about 2 foot 9 inches tall. The existing fence panels that sit on top of this low wall, each one is 7 foot 2 inches. So Because of the sidewalk slope and the change in height of the low walls, it looks like the overall height of the fence is getting lower as it progresses to the east, but the size of the panels themselves is actually the same. Please note there's an existing service gate, which you can see here in this top left corner. It's open in this photo. So that's where there's one existing gate that leads to a below grade stair and entrance. Also note the areaway railings return on Park Avenue, as I said, over here. That's the view from Park. Here are additional existing condition photographs, including that stair and the below grade service entrance and a ladder. And here are the existing and proposed elevations. On top is the existing configuration of the low wall and its iron fence, with the location of the existing gate and the stair and ladder shown. On the bottom is the proposed elevation, where you can see that a portion of the granite wall is proposed to be removed. That's actually highlighted in red up here on the existing. And below on the proposed elevation, you see where there's a new gate proposed. That would accommodate a loading gate, removing that portion of granite wall. And the new fence that would sit on top of the existing, the existing granite walls. Rather than each panel being a uniform height, creating that step look that's there now, the fence itself, the heights of each panel would change to create a uniform appearance of the gate going across the building, a uniform height.
Should I bring in those?
Here's the work proposed, shown in the existing and proposed plans.
Okay, that's gonna.
Here's a photo just to show you again the existing condition of what the fence looks like to the east on 76th Street with adjacent ironwork at adjacent houses next door for comparison and context. Now, in terms of looking at a design for the new fence, the architects looked to existing ironwork on the building and used elsewhere in the streetscape in this district. Here's ironwork on the windows on this building with these circular forms and finials, finial treatments at the top, and these types of like banded scrolls at the bottom. And this is the existing fence and gate that's located on the other side of the building on Park Avenue, as well as how the tree beds are treated with their railings. Here are other existing condition photos of other buildings in the district that they looked at for inspiration for ironwork. This is 25 East 78th Street in the top left corner, and top right rather. Let's see, and also 36 East 67th Street, which also has a tall areaway fence in front of a below grade areaway. So here are existing and proposed sections. Here on the left, you can see that the comparison of detail between the very austere existing picket iron fence that's there and the more decorative iron fence that's proposed now, again, to be more reflective of existing ironwork on the building. Existing and proposed sections again. Just some detail drawings for the individual elements. More existing and proposed sections. And now these are, I think, most illustrative. These are existing condition photos on top and proposed condition rendered below. So what you're seeing on top are the existing condition of what's there now, and below is what this work would look like once installed. Here's existing and proposed again. Real photograph on the left and proposed rendering on the right. And here you're seeing that small portion of existing low granite wall that would have to be removed to accommodate this new loading gate. And here's the replacement service gate. Again, that service gate is existing. That location would not change. And existing proposed as looking from the corner of Park Avenue. So this is the return at Park Avenue. And that's really our presentation, and we look forward to your questions and comments.
Okay, I just very quickly, what is the height of the new fence above the sidewalk? The top of the new fence above the sidewalk.
Okay, so I'm going back to the
That's
elevation
fine.
drawing to show you that because it's going to
Yeah, there
vary.
it is.
So because of the slope of the sidewalk
Mhm.
at the Park Avenue end, the height of the fence would be 4 feet. And then as you progress going east, at its highest, it's going to become 7 foot, about 7 foot 3 inches.
And the granite base at, let's say, at Park Avenue, the whole granite base, with the exception of where you're cutting it out, will all be the same height it was or is today.
Right. The
Okay.
only the granite base, the low granite wall is staying. The only change there is this small portion that they're proposing to cut out to accommodate a new gate.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments from a member of the public?
I don't see any, no.
I don't see any either. Okay, so let's go to the committee, I guess, in regular alphabetical order.
Elizabeth?
Thank you very much for this presentation and for bringing along a better building than we've seen before this evening. I think this is a very good solution. I think it does reflect the character of the building. And I think you've dealt with the sloping sidewalk problem very well. Is this ironwork painted black?
Yes. Yes, it would be painted black. Sorry, I should have said that.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I will support this.
Michelle?
Thanks. Yeah, you distinguish between the service entrance and a loading entrance. Is there the piece that you're cutting out now to accommodate a gate for a loading entrance?
Mhm.
Does that not exist at the moment? Are you creating that?
Well, let's look at it in plan. So there's an existing service passageway there. And what's there now, I think that is oh, that's the ladder. You know what? I better ask the architects to answer this one. Because now I've forgotten how this access changes with this gate.
Yes.
Does it go to the same place as the service gate? You see, you have two distinct. So you have a service gate, and that's cut down. But the loading gate, you're calling it the loading gate. So I imagine moving in and out, furniture, whatever may come through that. And at that point, there was no swing gate down to almost the street level. You're creating that?
Yes, that's correct. They're creating this new entrance.
So the loading entrance didn't exist. It was only your service gate that existed, and it accommodated all kinds of service, including loading and unloading, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so are you changing anything on the stairwell inside the areaway?
No, we're leaving the existing stairwell as is. At some point, there was a plan to incorporate a new stairwell, but that was kind of thrown out just because the swing of the doors would have to come out into the sidewalk. So we decided against it, and we're just only going for having the loading gate available for them to move any furniture or take out any trash that they need to.
So aesthetically, excuse me, I'm sorry, it's not a problem. But if it goes on to the same stairwell, I'm not understanding the need.
No, it'll go straight into the passageway. The stairwell is adjacent to it, so right to the side. Yeah. So you can see
It goes straight into the building, Michelle.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your reason, because it'll go straight into the building.
Correct.
And not have to use a stairway. So when you cut that down, it will be level with the street entrance?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I understand that. Now, can you tell me the overall height of the most existing part of the fence in the existing condition? I know it's going to go to 7 feet 2 inches, the furthest east part on 76. What's the height of it in the existing? I can't see this.
So in the existing, each individual panel is 7 foot 2 inches. So the fence will actually get much lower in the new proposed condition.
But it'll be
Yeah.
the same height at the far east portion.
At the far east, yes,
Okay.
but not
Alright.
as you go toward Park Avenue.
Right, I get that. All right, thank you. I think the aesthetics of it is certainly an improvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah?
Thank you for this presentation. I appreciate the alignment of the fence, and I think that optically it looks much more pleasing with this application.
John?
I agree. I think the appearance of the new one is a big improvement over the old. Thank you.
Jane?
Thank you. I will support the application.
Abraham?
I will support it as well. I think it's very well done and looks aesthetically better. Thank you.
Marco?
Thank you. I'm support the application, but I had to mention that you also put a fence around of the tree pit. I think it organized much better the streetscape. I think it's a very smart decision, and I support this application. Thank you.
Thank you.
Christina?
I wanted to ask, are you going to stop using the service gate? Or the building now just decides they want 2 service gates, one called loading? Because a service gate is a loading gate.
I don't have the answer to that. Would one of the architects like to respond to that one?
Yes. Yeah, no, so they would still use the service entry for any personnel that need to go down to the cellar area. The loading gate would be primarily used for just getting large pieces of furniture in or any trash out of the building. So their main trash egress is right in that passageway. So it'll just help them get them out to the sidewalk a little easier.
Thank you.
Okay.
Kimberly?
Hi, thank you. I can support this application.
Amir?
I think the proposed fence is an improvement from before. It looks really good. So I would be very supportive. Thank you.
TJ? TJ, are you there? TJ, please message me if you are unable to unmute. And that's it. So David and Anthony?
And to echo what everybody else has said, I think all you have to do is look at it, and it is a major improvement. It certainly has my support.
Yes, and mine as well. I think my favorite aspect of this is that because the top of the fence is constant, when you get to Park Avenue, it's not too tall. So it doesn't feel as though it's so much of a visual barrier as a sort of guardrail. I think it's a very good, a series of very wise decisions. And I think we can get a resolution. Abraham's hand is up.
Yeah, I'd like to move to approve as presented.
And Michelle and Marco and Jane, second. So let's go to a vote.
All right, let me unmute everyone. Okay, Elizabeth,
Yes,
Michelle,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
You got that on. Nobody can hear. I'm telling you what to do.
Anthony,
It's my house.
Anthony,
This
Yes.
is all not working.
David,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Jane,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Marco,
Yes.
Christina,
Yes.
Kimberly,
Yes.
Amir,
Yes.
and TJ, are you there? Okay, I don't think he's here.
Okay. 3 unanimous. That's terrific.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Earl.
We'll have a short presentation Wednesday. Okay,
Thank
so
you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Jackie.
So, any old business? Any new business?
Awesome.
Motion to adjourn.
Believe Marco has his hand up.
Motion to adjourn. That's what I was saying. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, we have a second.
Jane and Michelle.
Okay. Everybody have a good summer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Wednesday.